The catacombs of Alexandria, also known as Kom El Shoqafa, or mound of splinters in Arabic, are one of the 7 wonders of the medieval world. The structure was rediscovered in September 1900, when a donkey wandering on the outskirts of Alexandria found itself on unstable ground. Unable to regain his balance, the unfortunate explorer fell into the access shaft of the ancient tomb. Soon after the site was discovered, a team of German archaeologists began excavations. In the years that followed, they uncovered a spiral staircase cut out around a circular well. At the bottom, they found an entrance that led to a circular domed room known as the rotunda. In the rotunda, archaeologists found several portrait statues. One of them depicted a priest of the Greco-Egyptian deity Serapis. The cult of Serapis had been promoted by Ptolemy, one of Alexander the Great's generals and later ruler of Egypt. He did this in an attempt to unify the Greeks and Egyptians in his kingdom. The god is often depicted as Greek in physical appearance but decorated with Egyptian ornaments. Derived from the cult of the Egyptian gods Osiris and Apis, Serapis also has attributes of other deities. For example, he was credited with powers relating to the Greek god of the underworld Hades. This statue was one of the first indications of the multicultural nature of the site. Moving from the rotunda deeper into the tomb, archaeologists encountered a Roman-style dining room. After the burial and on memorial days, relatives and friends of the deceased visited this room. Bringing plates and jars back to the surface was probably seen as bad practice. Therefore, visitors purposely broke the containers of food and wine they brought, leaving pieces of earthenware vases and plates on the floor. When archaeologists first entered the room, they found it littered with pottery fragments. Shortly thereafter, the catacombs became known as Kom El Shoqafa, or Mound of Fragments. The rotunda connects to a room with an altar located in the center. Carved into the walls are places to insert the sarcophagi. The central wall of the chamber contains a Greek scene, Hades abducting the Greek goddess Persephone, and an Egyptian one, Anubis mummifying a corpse. On the grounds of the chamber, archaeologists found a large number of human and horse bones. They theorized that the remains belonged to victims of a mass massacre orchestrated by the Roman Emperor Caracalla in 215 AD. 8 years before the massacre, the local Roman garrison had been sent to guard the empire's northern borders. On multiple occasions, the citizens of Alexandria used the weakened rule of law to protest Caracalla's reign. Furthermore, the Roman emperor had received news that the Alexandrians were joking that he had killed his brother and co-ruler Geta, whom he had killed in front of his mother. One of the ancient sources of the massacre mentions that Caracalla ordered the youth of Alexandria to gather in a designated square under the pretext of an inspection for military service. Once many Alexandrians had gathered, Caracalla's soldiers surrounded them and attacked. Another version of the story tells of Caracalla inviting important Alexandrian citizens to a banquet. Once they had begun to eat, Roman soldiers appeared from behind and killed them. Subsequently, the emperor sent his men into the streets to attack anyone they encountered. Archaeologists have theorized that the bones found on the ground of the Hall of Caracalla belonged to the victims of the massacre. The unfortunate Alexandrians had sought refuge in the catacombs but were captured and massacred. However, the link between Caracalla's massacre and the tomb remains doubtful, and for this reason, the Caracalla Hall is also called Nebengrab, because it is next to the main tomb. As for the horse bones, a doctor examined them and identified them as belonging to racehorses. Perhaps the winners of the running races had the honor of being buried in the tomb. From the rotunda, a flight of stairs leads to an entrance flanked by 2 pillars. Above the passage is depicted a winged solar disk located between 2 falcons symbolizing the Egyptian god Horus. The facade also bears inscriptions of 2 cobras with shields placed above them. The images were probably added to ward off grave robbers and other malicious visitors. Crossing the entrance to the main tomb, the first thing archaeologists would have noticed were 2 statues placed in niches on either side of the door. One depicts a man wearing Egyptian-style clothing, his hair portrayed in the Roman tradition of the 1st and 2nd centuries AD. The other statue depicts a woman, also with Roman hair. However, she wears no clothes, as is common in Greek statues. It is hypothesized that the statues depict the main owners of the tomb. The walls next to the 2 statues bear inscriptions of bearded serpents representing Agathodemon, a Greek spirit of sellers, grain, good luck, and wisdom. On their heads, the serpents wear the double pharaonic crowns of Upper and Lower Egypt. Carved into the rock above them, there are shields with the head of the Gorgon Medusa staring at visitors with her petrifying gaze. Upon entering the main burial chamber, the archaeologist encountered 3 large sarcophagi. Each is decorated in Roman style with garlands, gorgon heads, and an ox skull. 3 relief panels are carved into the walls above the sarcophagi. The central panel depicts Osiris, the Egyptian god of the afterlife, death, and resurrection, lying on a table. He is mummified by Anubis, the god of death, mummification, and the underworld. At the sides of the bed, the gods Thoth and Horus assist Anubis in the funeral rite. The 2 side panels show the Egyptian bull god Apis receiving gifts from a pharaoh standing next to him. A goddess, perhaps Isis or Mat, observes Apis and the pharaoh. She holds the feather of truth, used to determine whether the souls of the deceased are worthy of the afterlife. On the internal side of the portal, 2 reliefs of Anubis guard the entrance. Both are dressed as Roman legionaries, wearing spear, shield, and armor. For centuries after its construction, the catacombs continued to be used. The deceased were lowered into the tomb with ropes through the vertical shaft located next to the stairs, and then moved deeper underground. The catacombs were most likely born as a private complex for the man and woman whose statues are found in the niches of the main tomb. Subsequently, and until the 4th century AD, the structure became a public cemetery. In its entirety, the complex could accommodate up to 300 bodies. People visited the site for burials and memorial celebrations. Priests performed offerings and rituals in the catacombs of Kom El Shoqafa. Their activities probably included mummification, as the practice is depicted in the main burial chamber. Eventually, the catacombs fell into disuse. The entrance was covered by earth, and the people of Alexandria had forgotten about its existence.